Welcome to another $4 million Strategies, the best 4 minutes in business. Today, we're excited to have Klevit. She is with Business Success Consulting Group. Today, she's going to talk about after you've created your SOPs, how do you actually make sure it gets implemented and rolled out throughout your company? Adi, tell us how we should do that.
Absolutely. So the first thing is the mindset. So you have to be convinced that that's what you want to do, that you want to roll it out and you want to make sure that it is important to you that you're going to have a culture of SOPs and adhering to those SOPs. I know it sounds trivial, but if you as a leader are not going to push it through and you're not convinced that that's what you want to do, or you will violate using procedures when they should be used, it's going to be hard to actually get it across to everybody in the organization. So the first of all is like you have to be totally convinced and have the mindset that we are rolling it out. The next thing is the rollout. Everyone in the company needs to know what the SOPs are about, even people that have been there for 30 years. Because if they don't read it, how can you expect them to be on the same page as a new person that is coming on board? Everyone needs to read those SOPs and know what is your standard operating procedure. I'm talking about you wrote them. Now you have to roll it out. Everybody should actually go over it. So you let everybody read it and then you ask for their feedback because you want inclusiveness. You want everyone to be part of that process. So you have them read it, you survey them to see if anything is missing, anything needs to be revised, anything needs to be edited. And then what you do is you start using it in your day-to-day operations. Meaning if somebody comes to you and asks a question, instead of answering, you ask, do we have the SOP? Do we have a process for it that is documented? And if so, let's read it. Let's see if it was followed. When there is an issue that needs to be processed, you use your standard operating procedures. You have that viewpoint that it's either going to be a people problem or a process problem or both. And then you use your documentation and your processes in order to resolve issues. You always look for improvement. So people around you know that they need to be part of that process and look at processes and see what can be improved. And when you spot an improvement, then you document it. And then you get the whole thing again. You roll it out, you get people to use it, etc. And you definitely use for each processes, you align it with your scorecard, with your metrics, with your KPIs. So you are measuring the effectiveness of that procedure. And accountability, that's the last one. You have to make sure that there is a culture of accountability, that if someone in the company is not using it, it's not okay. Meaning people are going to say, hey, we have a process for it. Let's follow it. Always fall back on the process once it exists and don't start using something else. And lastly, keep them up to date. Because to the degree that one procedure or one process is not being updated, then it opens the door to, well, we used to do it in the past, but we don't do it anymore. And you don't want that. You want all of your procedures and your processes be up to date and current so they are usable and people are following them.
Adi, that was an excellent description in just 4 minutes on how to make sure your SOPs actually get implemented. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Cool.